Amables amigos, welcome back once again to another new episode of the Club Lucha Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Foos, here alongside Floke and Soups. How are y'all doing today?
AEW. AEW. No, sorry.
Hey.
Oh, wrong podcast.
Dude, some of these questions that y'all sent in.
Excellent. I mean, we have some excellent questions. Honestly, we could start with a couple, since this is the mailbag episode, and also, for those of you who don't know, this is the mailbag episode. We've solicited some questions, some comments, some concerns, some general statements as well.
Did you put the email questions on the document too?
Yeah, I put them all on here. So
Okay.
I went through. In fact, the last three, the ones that are a little bit longer, those are actually all the email questions. So we can get to those as well. But for those not aware, we will be covering those, and also the last week of CMLL, AEW, ROH, Rev Pro collaboration shows that went on throughout the week last week. So we have a very full podcast for you this week, as promised, I guess.
IWRG.
Yes, the podcast is so full actually that I didn't even have a bit to start this episode off. We're just jumping right in, honestly.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, so we can go ahead and begin. First, let's answer a couple of questions. First question coming in.
The top?
Yeah, let's start from the top.
All right.
First question coming in from Abby, beloved friend of the show, host of one of the hosts of File Under Fire. Ball knower, just generally intelligent person when it comes to talking about wrestling. Abby, we appreciate you. He asks, who is the most underrated luchador from the 80s, 90s, aughts? Soups, you're going to have to explain to me what aughts means in this context. I don't think I understand.
The 2000s. From
Okay.
2000 to 2009.
Okay, I was gonna say
okay.
like, yeah, because I know, yeah, I didn't know what that meant either. I thought he just like accidentally like auto translate or like auto.
I thought that was until you said that. I thought he was saying thoughts.
Yeah, me too. That's what I thought. I thought it was autocorrect. I thought like autocorrect fucked up.
See, like I was saying, Abby's very intelligent, and we are clearly not. We did not understand.
Yeah, no, he's on a different level.
Yeah, so he's batting far above what we are pitching at this point right now.
Yeah,
so.
he's slumming it down in the Club Lucha pod right now.
What do you guys think? Most underrated guy of the 80s? Look, I'll defer to you first, actually.
80s? That's a good question. Honestly, 80s. I feel like you could give it to any of the three members of El Triángulo de la Muerte. I feel like they had probably some great work that we didn't get to see, because UWA. We didn't get to see a lot of the UWA stuff, and even the stuff that we did get to see on UWA TV. While it was good, I feel like there was definitely better stuff that we probably did miss. So Rambo, Loco Sandokan, Caos, any of those three guys.
That's a really good answer, actually. Huh. Soups, you got anything for this one?
80s, no, man, I had to go after Float. 80s is such a weak spot for me, but like I would say a lot of guys from that era, just touching on kind of what Float said, like we don't have a lot of footage, and like especially good footage of like 70s and 80s and stuff. So I feel like a lot of guys who would be well renowned are kind of getting lost to time a little bit.
Fair. That's fair. I'm gonna go with this one, and this may not be underrated in terms of people who like follow lucha, but I think maybe as a whole in like all of wrestling, I think somebody who's really underrated is Super Astro. I think that when people see him, they're like, wow. But I feel like a lot of people maybe are not super familiar with him. And that is also, I guess, part of the problem is there's not a lot of tape from like El Toreo or like a lot of the places where he was wrestling. But I mean, he has footage of the 90s and stuff, but I guess maybe in the when I think of it, my train of thought here is a lot of when I watch his stuff from like the 90s, I'm like, this guy was incredible. He's so good, right? which makes me think when he was younger, he could have only been more spry, more
Right.
agile.
Better,
Yeah,
yeah.
and been
Honestly, you know
doing
what?
it.
I think I do actually have a definitive answer now.
What do you think?
Someone who like there's a few like there's definitely six mans like I think like uploaded onto Roy's channel. Americo Roca.
Hmm.
Americo
Def-
Roca has, I believe, a few singles matches that have been uploaded to Roy's channel from the '80s, and like every single time I've watched them, like just just an incredible wrestler overall. I don't see him at least enough conversations. For example, whenever we mention names like Satanico, Dandy, uh, Negro Casas, all those guys that were doing great stuff also in the '80s, but they, some of their bigger matches came in the '90s. But I feel like we don't mention Americo Roca among those names, even though he did seem to have some fantastic matches.
answer as well. I mean, there's a lot of names you could put here. In the 90s though, who do you think is most underrated of the 90s?
'90s.
There's a lot of answers for
I
this one, I think.
honestly, I think I'm gonna go with. This might be out of left field, but I'm gonna pick Tony Arce. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's a really interesting pick. What's your thought process behind that one, Flo?
So Los Destructores as a whole were a great, great trio slash group as in general. And I think especially whenever los Destructores jumped over to AAA, I think they don't get enough credit for how much they helped elevate Rey Mysterio Jr.'s career, like and like that initial starting point. Like those first few years when Rey was like in AAA, and I don't feel
Yeah.
like he gets enough credit.
They had some really good matches against. I know there's at least one really good one where it's Los Destructores against Rey Mysterio, Misterioso, and Volador.
Yeah,
Senior.
there's a few. Yeah, there's another one where it's Los Destructores versus Rey Mysterio Senior, Rey Mysterio Jr., and then Volador. That one's also really good.
That's a good answer. I was gonna say, see, mine is gonna sound so much more basic in comparison. I was gonna say probably somebody like Angel Azteca, like
Hmm.
um, which again is like one of those answers that's like if you're following, you know how good he was, but if you were not like, I guess if you're not following or like you haven't looked too much into him or like too much in that era, you'd be like, you might not, be as familiar maybe. Um, but I don't think, yeah, I think that's my answer. Maybe like an Angel Azteca, or maybe even like a
That's good.
Felino. And I think
Yeah,
Felino's pretty
Felino's a good
popular.
choice.
Yeah.
I think they were like among like those popular ones, like him. They were like among like not like the top names, but they were definitely among like they were popular like Angel Azteca, Felino, Javier Cruz, people like that.
Big mid carders. Um,
Yeah.
which Felino, God almighty. I could do a whole episode on Felino, how much I love Felino. But yeah. Soups, what do you think?
So
Most underrated guy.
I'll go. I'm gonna go even more basic because I can't go nearly as deep as Floke and you on this one. But I want to appeal to like your average wrestling fan, and I want to say most of the WCW cruiserweight luchadors outside of your like Hoovies, Eddies, Rays. Like even if you take someone like La Parca to like a normal person, that's just the guy that danced with the chair. And like
Yeah.
most of these guys to like most like non-Mexican North American wrestling fans are sprint guys, spot guys, and not
Yeah.
like well-renowned luchadors that can put on like 20-30 minute classic matches and have more versatility than just that WCW cruiserweight style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good perspective for that, especially because like, like your Dandis, your Silver Kings,
Yeah.
Damian, you know.
Your young Hector Garzas.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a good answer. That's a really good perspective on that one, actually, I think. And now the aughts, 2000s, I guess.
Thousands. You
Um,
know, you want to start or I'll start again?
you go. I'll let you go.
All right, you know what? This one's gonna go even a little deeper, but I'm gonna go with an IWRG slash indie legend, Bombero Infernal. Dude, Bombero Infernal's like just 2000 work as a whole is fantastic, and I don't feel like it gets enough credit. But if you've like tuned into like the stuff that Rob Viper's uploading in his channel, man, some of the matches that that has Bombero Infernal on there is just like so great. And then there's also a good amount of matches that you can find of like classic / retro IWRG on like I think it's IWTV, and there's also just some pretty good matches of Bombero Infernal on there. So yeah, just someone that I don't feel gets enough credit, especially considering that he's one of the main trainers in Naucalpan. He's still one of the main trainers in Naucalpan, and he's still wrestling right now. So yeah, Bombero Infernal.
Good answer. I'm not as tuned in to him. Really, I should go back and watch some. 2000s. See, Soup's already said a really good one that I guess when underrated comes up, especially for the mainstream fans, I think of 2000s like Elia Park. I think he had so many great matches in the 2000s when he was like in CMLL, and like against like Ultimo Guerrero, obviously against Dr. Wagner, um, Hijo del Perro Aguayo. Like he has a lot of good matches in his like 2000 CMLL run, I think.
Yeah.
If we go deeper than that, God, underrated. Maybe someone I see a lot. Maybe no, because he was. I almost wanted to say Shocker, but he was really popular. He was. I mean, he even made it to TNA, really. So okay, I'm just gonna could say Messias. I could also even say now this might sound crazy to some. Well, again, no, because he was super popular in Mexico, but maybe he was also kind of popular in America too. Vampiro, which I like. Look, I like some of the 2000s Vampiro like matches, but I guess that's just personal opinion. I'm just gonna stick with LA Park for the 2000s. That's gonna be me. Lock me in.
Oops.
So for me, like obviously I wasn't around watching Lucha in this time, so you guys would have more perspective on this. But looking back, I feel like Chessman is kind of disregarded now. And I'm here to, if I get the opportunity, I'll spread a Chessman agenda. But like that guy was so like pivotal to that AAA style of just like car crashes and just throwing his body around, and like he was involved in so many important things, especially in those late aughts AAA shows, which a lot of them had kind of ended the same, Eye of the Tiger play and all that shit. But I found whenever we're going back to watch those shows, he's always a huge bright spot. And I don't know if he was ever given his flowers at that time like he deserved it.
His beast, yeah. I mean, with Los Hell Brothers,
Yeah.
and then I think he betrayed Cibernetico, and like he was going up against Cibernetico. I think they had a match for the Mexico Campeonato, or some storyline like that. I'll have to go back and watch it, but I mean that's a valid answer. I think he was. I mean,
Yeah.
if you ask the average person online, hey, what do you think about 2000s Chessman? They're probably not gonna say anything. They're probably gonna be like, I don't know who Chessman even is, So
Isn't that murder?
Yeah, that's he committed those awful murders.
Hey, wait a minute,
Because
he killed
he
somebody.
never won the Mega Campeonato, right?
I don't think so. No, I think it might have been past. He went against Cibernetico. I remember that, but I don't know if the belt was on the line.
See, I'm pulling up his Lucha wiki here. No, I don't see it.
Oh man, well,
brutal, man. That confirms it. Underrated.
Yeah, you go. They never gave him They never gave him the run.
Hey man, maybe Triple H will pull the trigger on him.
They gave it to El Zorro, but not Chessman. It's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Honestly, like now that you've mentioned the 2000s for AAA, there's like all the names are rushing in my head now.
You could throw in all of La Fuerza Aérea guys.
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
question.
Exactly. That's exactly the group I was thinking of. All right. Good question, Ami. Thank you so much for submitting that, and thank you for everyone who submitted a question or comment or concern. Let's do one more, and then we can talk about the Tuesday show. The question here is, what is your Tejano Jr. burger order? Who wants to go first?
You know that trend on TikTok with Jersey Mikes where they're placing their order and then they say, like, just tell Mike he can do whatever he wants with my sub. I think that's what I'm doing with Tejano Jr. I'm just saying, go, take it to the back, bring it back when you're ready. Whatever you want to do, I'm game.
Yeah, I think that's a fair order.
He said, do it the Tejano way. That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna pick my Tejano Jr. burger orders a Hawaiian burger, extra crispy fries.
Okay.
I was gonna say I'm a really simple kind of guy. As a much younger, fatter child, I would have said something maybe like 3 patties, cheese, and maybe like some bacon on that. But as a more wizened, more mature young man now, I would have to say something much more simple. Maybe just like a classic double burger with cheese or something like that, right? Like, something light.
Oh shit, they also sell sincronizadas. Oh, I might get that instead.
But maybe fries. Sometimes yeah. Burger and fries. Just keep it classic for me. Keep it classic for me. And you know what? Let's answer one more question here before we jump in there. This is a good one as well. How are you guys feeling about the guys CMLL has continued to book from Torneo de Escuelas, parentheses, Troglodita, Blue Shark, Vigía, etc.? I will say personally, I love that CMLL continues to feature some of these guys. They usually, I for each year that they've done it, they usually do keep like a few guys. They keep bringing them back, and kind of like depending on how they perform, depending on how they do, moving up and down the card. I know, like from last year, Shelhua, he's definitely overperformed. I mean, he was good in the tournament, and I think Floke was the first one actually to talk about him, point him out of the three of us for sure. But since then, I mean, he's just been doing a great job. I think that the whole tournament is a great way to inject like maybe not like complete rookies, but like new blood, like younger kind of like prospects into the CMLL system. And for the most part, I think they do pretty well. And if they don't, then we don't really see them that much after that. And from last year too, I haven't seen him in a little while, but like Alom, Infarto.
Dude, I want both of them back. I thought they would have made. I think they would have made like a great tag team, campeones de parejas de Occidente. I think like they would be just a great pair. Just have them work out in the Coliseo de Guadalajara. Just have the tag titles over there.
Yeah, like it's
Two giant dudes.
It's a really good way to like cycle in new talent. And it really is, and I will say it really refutes this narrative about CMLL that has existed for a long time, and I guess for a while maybe it was true, but that CMLL was only like for like old veterans and like the rookies never got like opportunities and stuff. And yeah, at one point maybe it was like that. And I guess we can admit that. And like watching, there were sometimes older guys who had priority on the cards because they were there longer. But I think the CMLL today is a little different because newer guys do get the opportunities, and we see that in like some of the main events from this year, and we see that in just like some of the booking that they're doing nowadays. They're giving more of the younger guys more opportunities, and I think it's just like a complete benefit for them. I don't think they really lose anything by doing that.
Yeah.
Does
No,
anyone
I guess
have
if they're talking about like specific booking, I think they're booking them just fine. I do wish there were a few of the wrestlers from that tournament that did stick around, but it seems like they won't be sticking around due to they just maybe want to stay freelancing or whatever. Probably the biggest one for me, or the biggest shocker, which I'm kind of disappointed about, is Vengador. I thought Vengador would have been like an instant, just like yeah, they're gonna like rocket push this guy, kind of like they did with Neon. But unfortunately, it seems like he may be out of CML now.
I was actually about to ask about him because I had not seen him in a long time. So he's just,
But I think like it seemed, yeah, it's because he's working a show with like some people that are on CML's no list, like Toxina and Latigo.
oh,
Yeah, so fortunately, but I hope we get to see Troglodita team with Bárbaro Cavernario and La Gran Alternativa. That'd
Oh
be
man, that'd be
awesome.
so sick. Building off that
yo,
too, like
Yeah.
seeing him booked is like very similar vibes to when Shello kept getting booked. Like really just both credit to Floke too, just having his eyes for when he was Shunga Shunga Jr. and just like putting us all onto that and just watching him get new levels of success is always it's a source of pride for us.
Yeah. I honestly think if they don't do the Bárbaro Cavernario and Troglodita tag team for La Gran Alternativa, it's gonna be such a missed opportunity,
Oh,
man.
dude, that's a layup. Yeah.
Dude, they could do the double caveman plancha, and if they just have to. They have to.
it'd be
Yeah. Right
awesome.
Blue
to
Shark,
representatives.
Blue Shark. I think he's been doing fine. We've seen him a few times. I still think he does need some work. Who else has been sticking around from the tournament? What's the name
Alexios.
of the guy? Alexius. Oh, Alexius is awesome. He's like the same treatment that Lucha Memes gave Shelwa. That's the same treatment that I want to see with Alexius. I want to see Alexius facing like Judas el Traidor, Avisman, Magnetico. I want hell give him Hechicero in like this first year, dude. He's only 18. This guy has so many years ahead of him. So I want to see the same trend that Lucha Memes did with Shelwa. Hell, if you want, do a tag team match. Do Shelwa and Alexius versus Karma Uno and Karma Dos. Like instant, just like that'll be an amazing match with just tons of mat wrestling and Yaveo. So love to see that. And Vigia, I want to punch him.
He must be. He's a great Rudo for that alone.
They don't even book him as a Ruda. That's the thing. He has such a punchable face.
Yeah,
But
dude, I hate that
he's a
guy in the best
technical.
way.
Every time I see him, I want to boo him. So maybe they should book him as a Rudo. Um. All right. Actually, there's a bonus question here specifically for Soups, by the way. Question for Soups. Which K-pop star do you think would be the best wrestler?
Whew. All right. Okay. Primarily girl groups here because that's the only thing worth listening to. Okay, I'll give 3. I don't even know who asked this question. Okay, we got Bae from NMIX, Momo from Twice, and we'll go Haiju from Luna and Lucemble fame. I think that'd just be a trio of shooters right there. And that was for like one person maybe. So thank you for the question.
I just want to say the last 3 questions were from friend of the show, Eternal Epure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's who that would be for. Yeah.
And he also left one additional comment. I'm worried about Dark Magic. What has happened to him? Hashtag free Dark Magic.
I have no clue. His last Instagram post was on May 29th.
we also
Should we DM
wonder...
him? Should we just ask if he's good?
Hey, boss, how you doing?
I'll do it right.
Let me check if he has. Let me check his Facebook. Maybe he's posted. Maybe he's posted something on Facebook ever since CML made him delete the other tweet.
We have to assume he's well.
Yeah, you always have to assume.
Because, if he wasn't, I guess we'd know. But
oh, okay, he's doing fine. He's doing fine.
okay,
On Facebook, June 1st, he said, "Gracias a todos por vuestra preocupación. Estoy bien. So thanks to everyone for your concern. I'm well." 3 bicep flex emojis.
awesome. All right.
So there it answers. But Dark Magic is doing just fine. He's just taking some time off, I guess.
Perfect. Let's jump into a perfect segue here. Let's jump into that Tuesday show from last week. CMLL. It was the CMLL versus AEW/ROH show, and obviously, because we have a very loaded episode today, we're not going to go too deep, match by match. But we are going to, I guess, talk about the peaks, what we thought was the best, maybe what we thought we didn't like so much, stuff like that. The first question I have about this show: who do you think the biggest winner on this show was? Loke Soups.
Like, who had the best performance?
Yeah, who came away looking the best of anybody on this show? It can be more than one person too. It can be 2 people, 3 people.
Atlantis Jr.
Oh man.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but the way that match finished was just too hilarious to not give him MVP of the show. Fuck your legwork.
I would say, I mean, Bandito's just like the obvious kind of pick, but I'm gonna say Lio Rush. Like, I think a lot of people were looking at that match going like, oh, there's so many other tag teams Los Hermanos Chavez could have gone against and had like a better match with, but I thought Lio Rush and his segments in that match looked awesome, and then later in the week as well looked even better. So I think it's Lio Rush. I think he deserves more opportunities to showcase himself here.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I would say if I'm not going like the obvious answer, like a Bandito or a Máscara Dorada, I would say Los Guerreros Laguneros and Los Infernales. That match had me hooting and hollering. Like, I loved that match so much. For me, I'm putting that on like my list of like my favorite matches of the year. I would go as far as to say it's a match of the year contender for me. I don't expect everyone to, I guess, have that same opinion, but I mean everything about this match I just absolutely loved. The Don Callis family was perfect, honestly perfect for this like Rudos versus Rudos kind of match. Takeshita, Fletcher, Suka Romero, like awesome, just awesome. I
His
love that
complaint
match
was
so
that I
much.
wish Euphoria would have worn the shiesty.
Yeah,
That would have been sick. Yeah.
they weren't ready for that.
Was it? It was about a year, almost exactly, since Kyle Fletcher had his Atlantis Jr. match, right?
I don't even remember
Kinda,
when it
yeah, I
happened. I'm
think
gonna be honest.
maybe June, July.
Comparing him to him now to him then is like the most night and day thing. Like, he was so fit for like this type of match, and like him stooging for everybody was just, dude, it's not even like the same dude. And I liked old Kyle Fletcher a little, so yeah, maybe he
Yeah,
won, honestly. Shit, I don't know.
I was gonna say he's grown a lot. I'm looking at the cage match ratings for all these matches, and I'm also looking at the included Wrestling Observer newsletter ratings. And like honestly,
The opener.
they were crushing. I mean, they crushed this opener with Berce and Red Velvet. I did not think that was
I
1 star.
know.
No way in hell was that a 1-star match for me. Like,
Hates women.
I have no idea what, like, you would think that they didn't land a single move. Like,
No, like, I thought it was, like, kind of unremarkable, but, like, I thought it was fine.
I thought it was a wholly unoffensive, good little, showcase of Berce and Red Velvet. And I mean, it didn't
Yeah.
go, it went 9 minutes, almost 10 full minutes. I thought it was fine. Seeing 1.5 on that, I was like, that's a
Yeah.
bit extreme,
1.5 to me, that's gotta be some, like, egregious shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's gotta be so bad to warrant, like, 1.5.
That's gotta be like Will Ospreay versus Michael Oku.
No, yeah, for real, dude.
I've seen Chris Jericho get higher than 1.5, and this match was not worse than a lot of the most recent like Jericho matches. Like I don't know. Hey. That one wasn't great, but you don't have to remind me of it. Hologram Neon was good.
I thought the tag title defense was good. I think actually Andretti was the only person kind of off.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. The crew.
Atlantis Jr.
I was gonna say the
He
crew
beat the
looked
shit
good.
out of. Oh yeah. Oh, Leo Rush looked good.
He looked really good. I was gonna say later on when we talk about the week as a whole, I was gonna say Leo Rush is one of the biggest winners of the whole week. Like you were saying, Subs. Atlantis Jr. A lot of people. Look, let me say this about Atlantis Jr. really quick. 40 plus weeks out of the year, Atlantis Jr. is getting cheers, right? These big shows when the I guess the quote unquote like the smart fans come out or like the more hardcores come out, they drown my boy. They drown my boy in booze. And it kills me because I'm like, the nepotism is not bad enough. And he is not bad. He's not a terrible luchador. He's not a terrible wrestler to warrant the booze that he gets, honestly. Like, nepotism aside, right? And the thing about like the nepotism claims, 90%. Yes! 90% of this CMLL roster has family in the company.
That's true.
Right?
Even some of the rookies, dog.
Yeah.
It's like it's a double standard against big sweet Atlantis Jr., right? Like, I don't know. I don't think he deserves it. I'm just one guy. When I posted about it, and some people were like, people were talking about, oh, but his dad, he's just getting everything handed to him, and it's like I don't really think so, honestly. Like, especially the last 2 years, I think he has improved tremendously. I think he's definitely earned his spot, and I think he does very well when he's put in big situations. He did incredible when he showed up on, I think it was either Dynamite or Collision, to hype the match against FTR. I thought he
got that promo, man.
Exactly.
God.
He's been knocking it out of the park. And look, if they want to boo him over there, then I mean, obviously you can't stop a crowd from booing somebody like that, right? It's more of like once you're set in your ways, and it kind of feels like at this point it is just kind of like they're set in their ways to boo him. So I don't know. It's just like, damn. I personally, I don't think he deserves it, but we're just one podcast. I'm just one guy. We can't change the world, but maybe we can do it one step at a time.
Yeah. Starts with Atlantis Jr.
Yeah. Oh. Any other thoughts on this, especially like the main event? What did y'all think about that? I think we all have basically the same idea about that.
Yeah, main event was
Meltzer's wet dream.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if there was any match designed for Dave Meltzer, this has got to be as close to it as possible. But I think this is a much more deserving match of that elusive 5-star rating for CMLL. Not that it really matters at the end of the day, but it's it was Templario Dorado.
Yeah.
Like, good match, but I think we all kind of agree that it was nothing crazy. But at least this match, you can at least see the logic there.
This is way more justified 5-star than that Máscara Dorada and Templario match. And I think that speaks to not just Máscara Dorada's level, but Bandito's level. Like,
yes,
golly,
good week for Bandito too. Golly,
I was gonna say, like, he might be the biggest winner out of everybody coming out of this.
Yeah,
incredible.
Maybe Beast Mortos for
for
other reasons.
Maybe him, or also Leo Rush because he met we'll talk about it in a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to mention the finish of the 8-man match. Man, Gran Guerrero hit like the Tekken Rage Art finisher off the top rope there. They shot it so perfectly from like underneath. Oh my god.
That's my world champ right there.
Yeah, dude, yeah. People saying, "Oh, why aren't they featuring this guy on AEW? He's their world champion." You know what? Those people are right. He should have been main eventing.
That'd be crazy.
Exactly.
You guys want to jump into some more questions or anything else on this Tuesday show you want to say?
I guess we could say, I guess we could jump into more questions.
Awesome. Okay, so this one comes from Twitter as well, at Aqua Por Vida 123. Top mat-based luchas currently.
Current like wrestlers or like matches?
I think wrestlers. I think that's what they're. Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
what they're.
Okay.
I
Okay.
mean, the layups at Chisero, right?
Yeah.
Like you gotta pay homage to the GOAT real quick, and then we get
I
into.
wouldn't say Hechicero firsthand. That's just me personally, though. I would have said Avisman first.
That's fair.
Yeah, like
Um,
Avisman, Hechicero, Shelwa,
Yeah.
obviously.
Guerrero Maya Jr.
Alexius, yeah, Guerrero Maya Jr., Alexius, Virus. On the younger side, Karma Uno and Karma Dos, both those guys are great. Magnético, also on the somewhat younger side. Judas el Traidor, guys like that. Mr.
Coyote.
Thunder, Coyote, yeah, Coyote.
There's a lot, really. I mean, yeah, you just
Yeah, man.
have your pick there.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just your pick, but yeah, I guess if you're asking like who's my favorite Matt base right now, I'd probably have to say like one of the Karmas, probably for me at least.
I'm
They're
gonna give
only
a
20 and
basic
they're doing some
answer.
insane stuff.
I was gonna say my answer is really basic. I'm just gonna go Shelhua. He's been doing a lot of side quests recently, which I really enjoy.
Cycling,
I'll
engineering.
be even more basic and say Hechicero again.
No shame in that. No shame in that.
No, there's a reason why.
All right, so
Oh, this next one. Oh, wait, they gave like what, 3 questions? We can answer
yeah,
all of them quickly, I guess, right?
yeah, we can do that.
Alright, so this comes from William752205595. Please shorten that name for next time.
Three
First
numbers.
question. Your favorite and least favorite female luchadoras. I guess I'll do all time and then I'll do current. All time favorite probably no, Lola Gonzalez. And then for favorite it's either Lola Gonzalez or Marcela, and then for least favorite, Dalis, and then like current Lluvia. I feel like
I
it's
knew you
pretty
were about
obvious.
I knew you were about to say Yubi. That's why I started laughing.
Okay, Soups and Foos.
So all time, Fabi, probably all time, I guess. Current, I mean Reina Isis, of course.
Okay. Least favorite.
I'd say La Catalina as well, though. Least favorite. I really don't like that least, so I'm gonna steal that from you.
Yeah, no,
I
fine.
won't say Uvia though I do really want to.
I couldn't blame you if you said.
I'll say current Dalis.
All right, Foos.
All time favorites. I'm gonna be really basic with this answer as well. I actually have 3 that I really like to like cycle between as all time favorites, and maybe like
Honestly, hold on. I want to throw out an honorable mention to Pantera Sureña. Yeah, underrated.
good choice. I was gonna say Marcela, Fabi Apache, and Dark Angel. I just think Dark Angel's so cool. Current favorite, maybe. I very fond of Zauxis. I think that she works a style that I really enjoy, very hard hitting, and a lot of like really incredible moves. And actually, I have something to say about her Grand Slam performance when we talk about that here in a minute. And then I also really like Gira. I think Gira and Skavi. I think they're very good.
It's fair. Oh, yeah, it's fair.
Least favorite.
Just like really 2 answers, man.
Yeah, maybe like Dalis or like maybe like Yubia.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even say current favorite. Gira. Gira's my current favorite.
Yeah, I just think and just a bit overpushed. I think Yuvia's just a bit overpushed.
Just a bit. Holds 3 titles. Just a bit.
Oh man.
Always in the biggest matches, and I'm just like, But
there's gonna be someone that comments, "Oh, how was she overpushed if she wasn't on any of the 3 shows this week?" Someone's gonna comment that. 100%.
Probably for good reason.
Because our prayers work.
Yeah. Okay. Second question: what is your past generation versus new generation dream match?
Ooh,
So I'm assuming they mean like a wrestler from the past versus a wrestler from the current generation.
I think so, yeah. What do you got? This is a really interesting one. I really like this question, actually.
Okay. Um, Damn, there's some good. Like, I think honestly, I'm gonna want a wild brawl, so I'm gonna go with the original iteration of Los Invernales MS1, Pirata Morgan and Satánico versus Los Porros Nueva Generación, Lunatic Extreme, Oved Jr. and Superboy Jr. Yeah, give me that. Give me a wild ass brawl.
Yeah. I'm gonna say something a little more basic. I think I'm gonna go with. Mm, uh, I want to say one of them is going to be El Hijo del Santo, and then on the other side, you know what? I think El Hijo del Santo and Hechicero would put on an unbelievable
yeah,
match
dude.
together.
Yeah.
I think they would put on an all-time classic together. Yeah, I'm gonna say Hechicero and Hijo del Santo, which I guess, I mean, they're both still currently wrestling, but like prime Hijo del Santo.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Seuss? What you got?
Give me like early 2000s LA Park, and then put them in the junkyard, and give me Dameless, and just let them fucking go at it. Yeah.
Some interesting answers, actually. We got some good ones there.
Yeah. All right. Third question from William: what is a match you would show to a casual / ignorant fan to convince them that Lucha Libre is not all about flips and dives? I have two answers for this one. So my first answer is Angel Azteca versus El Dandy because that one's basically just like a pure technical match. Second one would have to be probably Cien Caras versus MS1. Apuestas, yeah. Great brawl.
I'm gonna say basic answer again. I'm just playing the hits today, but LA Park against the Hijo del Santo.
Damn it! That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Just because there is. Hijo del Santo does hit some like pretty incredible stuff, but like it's just like brawl, like bloody brawl, and that's wee. It's good stuff.
Okay, I think I have two. So if this person's like an American wrestling fan, I would show them the match from H2L last year, the BCC and Matt Seidel versus the Team CMLL main event. Or no, that wasn't even the main. Was that the main event? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
I think I would throw that on because it kind of blends the two styles together, and you get to see how invested the crowd gets into it. And I think that's such a huge component of lucha. The second one would be Santito and Negro Casas from what was that Japanese show? It's like the World Peace Festival or something. Like it was like a 7-minute match, and I think that's such a perfect like not a time commitment at all to throw that on and be like, hey, this rips. Just watch it for 7 minutes, and you get to see two of the best to ever do it. Just throw down.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're on the ball today. Honestly, I think we're giving some solid answers here.
No, we're cooking. Yeah.
I want to get rid of this question already.
This is a crazy question.
Okay. So this comes from @TerrybornG. I might have butchered your name. I'm sorry. Have you ever seen the racist blue demon movie La Mafia Maria, which literally ends with a tin pan making an incredibly racist caricature of a Chinese person, only for everyone to burst out laughing?
Man, I didn't know Diablo Roja was in that movie, man.
Hey.
I'm sorry.
He don't have internet.
I have not seen
those old Blue Demon Jr. movies.
I have not seen this movie. I know of his existence, and I have seen the particular scene you're talking about. But
yeah, I've seen the clip somewhere. I've seen the clip on Facebook before.
Stay tuned for the next Club Lucha Twitch stream.
Oh man, no. It's very, I don't know what year that movie must have come out in like between the 70s, maybe like late 60s to the late 70s, sometime between then. And times were different. We're not saying that makes it okay, obviously. Different time, different place, different part of the world, different standards,
Pagano was
really.
probably a big fan.
But
Oh, man. Pagano. Oh my god.
But obviously not defending it, not saying it's okay or anything, but definitely a product of its time. I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe I don't know if I'm gonna watch that one actually, but maybe I will. Maybe if I'm going for a complete run of the Blue Demon movie.
Help me live stream.
We're not watching it on stream. We can't watch that on stream. But not sure if that one's gonna be. I don't know if that one's gonna fly. Favorite indie lucha match so far this year. This is from Bollywood Benjamin. Thank you for the question, Bollywood Benjamin, and thank you for the question, Terraborn G. Flo, I'm gonna defer to you on this one because you've probably watched the most indie lucha of all.
Actually, let's get Floke to go last because he's gonna have the he's gonna have every answer under the sun.
I have like three main.
Let's make
for.
ourselves look better, Foos, so we can say our like completely basic answers, and then Floke could come in. I'm just gonna say Demus and Hyoda Fishman from Zona. I have not been locked in on indie lucha.
I am gonna say a match that I don't even remember the participants in, but it was so good that I was like, "This is probably the best indie match I've seen all year." And Folk actually sent it to me. It's the one where it ends, where the guy jumps from the corner to the ramp and he does the splash. You know what I'm talking
about? The Porros Nueva Generación versus Los Lobitos. Yeah.
Yes. That match was excellent. I'm a bit ashamed that I don't remember the name of the people in it, but just because I'm not as locked in on it.
It's literally Lobito Primero, Lobito Segundo, Lobito Tercero versus Superboy Jr., Lunatic Extreme, and Obed Jr. It's
excellent match.
But yeah, that was one of my answers. That was one of my three possible answers. So my answers were that, the first one, the cage match was great as well, but I don't hold it as in the highly regarded as the other one. The other one from I believe it was the 19th of January Lucha Meme show. Demus versus Alam del Castillo, fantastic match, still one of the best matches of this year. And third, well, I'll give out two more. I don't know if we want to consider IWRG indie or not, but just in case, IWRG, Cerebro Negro versus Bombero Infernal, Apuestas. That's still my match of the year. And then the other one, Karma Primero y Karma Segundo versus Judas el Traidor and Avisman. Just fantastic technical match. Just amazing. It was like what? It was like around like 20 minutes, but still really good.
Awesome stuff.
And also, there's also some Sona matches like Demus versus OCDs versus, I believe it was Venganza. No, it wasn't Venganza. Amnesia. Yeah, Amnesia was. That one was also really good.
Let's do one more and then we'll talk about Grand Slam. This one comes from a friend of the show, Freddy Too Faded. The Club Lucha Podcast had a burger place. What would be an item on the menu? I'm assuming each of us gets to add one item. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
This might be the toughest question.
All right, so you know how there's salchipulpos? I would have salchipulpos, but instead it would be like a salchicha with like carved in like a mass design.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah. I was just gonna say spicy chicken burger. Floke's gotta go last on all these fucking questions, man.
Mine's gonna be pretty basic. I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna detail the burger for you here real quick because I don't know, just in my mind, I have something pictured. So we're gonna start off with a classic, just regular sesame seed bun. Then on top of that, there's going to be, I don't know if you guys like your burgers with what sort of condiments y'all like on y'all's burgers, but I'm gonna say on this particular burger, the buns are gonna be slightly toasted. maybe a little butter on the inside.
Yeah.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go 92.8 ground beef.
Damn.
So it's mostly lean, but it's got a little fat. We're gonna cook that pretty well done because just for food safety, ground beef. Unless we're taking the meat ourselves and grinding it down, but in this case, we're gonna say it's gonna come in prepackaged and we're gonna do it because we're for the
got
people.
a lot of orders.
Exactly. This is a working person's burger spot, right? We are going to put a piece of pepper jack cheese on top of the burger, and it's going to get nice and melty. And then on top of that, we are going to put cut up a chile en vinagre. We're going to cut one of those up, so a pickled jalapeno. And then we are going to put a few, well, you know what? We're going to mash up a little avocado and salt it a bit. And then we're going to put a little bit of that on top of the jalapenos. And then I think on the bottom bun, we're going to put a piece of lettuce. And then we'll just assemble the whole burger there. I think that's pretty simple, but I think it'd be pretty good. Yes. And we will call it... I was gonna say, and I'm gonna call it you gotta come and you order it. Yeah, you gotta order it. It's the Guerrero special, number 2.
You guys had these nice in-depth answers, and my ass really just said spicy chicken.
I wasn't even that in depth. I was just like a normal appetizer, just with fucking lucha mask carved in it.
My lizard brain just it had to go to what it loves.
Spicy chicken. Like, no shame in that.
No, it's a layup, yeah.
All right, let's talk about Grand Slam real quick. So, AEW Grand Slam. First off, let's start off by saying, by just about every metric, I would say it was successful. It popped a, we don't usually do ratings talk on here. I mean, you could probably count on one hand the amount of times that we talk about ratings, especially for AEW on here, because, this is an AEW podcast. This is a Lucha Libre podcast, and we don't really, ratings talk is really not that prevalent.
I was
in
forced
Lucha,
to
I would
watch
say.
the show.
But it popped a rating. So obviously there was some appeal to that. It produced very, very popular emotional moments with Místico coming out to Me Muero. And it just had some, pretty darn good matches on it, I would say. There was one that I have seen a lot of criticism for, and that I thought was just all right. I actually was kind of hoping for a little bit more. And that match that I'm talking about is Okada versus Briscoe. I think that, I don't know, something about it. They were chanting Otra Lucha, which when you get that chant, it's not, you don't want that chant really. But what did you guys think? What was y'all's main takeaways from that show?
Go for it, Floke. I know you're chomping at the bit here.
Man, let me tell you, Místico versus MJF was not good. It was bad.
Cut his mic.
It was
Cut his mic.
Let me tell you this. If fucking Me Muero didn't play, none of you would be praising that match. I know damn well none of you would be praising that match if fucking Místico didn't come out with Me Muero.
Floke, I got a question, Floke. Did Me Muero play?
Hey, yo!
He didn't play. Yes, he did play. But that doesn't make it a good match. I'm looking at the match itself. I'm not looking at fucking Místico's entrance only. If it was Místico's entrance only, sure. But I'm looking at the match quality, and it was not good. It was like fucking like typical Místico shit plus MJF heel work as usual.
Good stuff.
I'll agree with Floke to an extent that MJF looked very off at points during that match. I thought it was fine though. That was good.
I'm not agreeing with Floke on any of that. I quite fond of that.
I don't care if Místico is coming out to Me Muero. You want me to get hyped? Have Último Guerrero come out with We Will Rock You again. If he comes out with that, dude, I'm gonna be screaming that shit.
Hey, you're not wrong.
Hey, look. I'm saying like this. If Tony Khan wanted to, he would. So I'm just saying.
That's
He's
true.
a bitch.
Yeah.
That's why.
He said, "Put the mask back on."
He's a fucking mark.
Hey.
He doesn't know ball.
Not too much on my goat now. Come on now. Look, did you have any more to say about the show?
I mean, what else was on the show? The 4-way was pretty alright, I guess.
Please, the 4 million pesos 4-way match.
Yeah, it was pretty alright. I mean, I liked Hangman's promo.
That was awesome. Yeah.
My goat Volador Jr. doing like 3 moves and then just like not appearing in the rest of the match is like pretty awesome
Getting
too.
paid, yeah.
One simply has to respect.
But yeah, that's about it. Yeah, I guess Mercedes versus Celsius was cool. I like the stiffness of the match.
Yo, how was that 2 3/4 by Mr. Dave Meltzer? What the?
He was watching. He has like anti-women goggles on, like all the time or something.
Yeah. Yo, remember when he said that women be shopping in a tweet?
Listen, I have no idea why he rated. I thought that match was quite enjoyable.
I thought it was good.
Honestly.
I thought it was really good, honestly. Yeah.
There was one moment where Zoxys did that tope and she just landed straight up face first. I was like,
yeah, that's real shit. Yeah.
I said, oh my gosh, she's cooked. And then she just got up and I was like,
yeah,
this is the greatest luchadora of the last decade.
As our goat Obby says, Elxie's Bombaye.
Look, she was. I quite like Zelxys. I do quite enjoy Zelxys. I do hope she gets some more big opportunities as well because, I mean, like, you know, I think she deserves them. I think, you know, very good.
Yeah,
very good. What about you, Sus? What were your highlights?
Yeah, it was really a vibe show more than like in the ring spectacular kind of show, but the Hangman match the Hangman promo, sorry, was really, really good. I wasn't expecting that at all. I thought he was just kind of gonna do the kind of mi nombre es Hangman and then cut a promo in English. Cutting the full Spanish promo, and then I think you said Foos he speaks better Spanish than Rocky does. And then yeah, the Mystico MJF stuff I thought was good. Would be cool for that to be an all-in match where Mystico can shave MJF's head. That'd be awesome. 4-way match was cool. Another Leo Rush standout performance. He looked incredible in that match. And then
the one user can finally shut up about Ricochet and CMLL.
they just all shifted to Osprey now. Oh yeah, wait, he was on this card, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was on the card.
Yeah, he was.
Oh yeah, he was in like the 30-man tag team match. Yeah. Yeah, that last match that was all right. Beast Mortos being able to be back somewhat affiliated with CMLL is always good news as well.
Kind of crazy that Beast Mortos.
Say, we need Rouge back.
Look, it's insane. Beast Mortos like had not been in CMLL that long. He comes back. He's in the main event of the evening. For this cross promotional show. He's dating Mercedes Moné. He stacks crazy money. He's always fresh. He's a lawyer.
Gonna be a lawyer.
Yeah. So like, you know, like you can have a favorite wrestler if you want, but the best wrestler is like almost objectively the Beast Mortos. Like, his swag is too tough. Yeah. You know, just like, you know, just top tier right now, the Beast Mortos. That's what we're saying.
Yeah, unstoppable run right now.
Everything's coming up Mortos, basically.
That fits way too well. Yeah.
If you're not on the Mortos train, if you weren't on the Mortos train before, I don't know where you were. If you're not on the Mortos train now,
trains left the station.
Get on that horse.
Go find someone else, man.
Exactly. Get on a horse and ride it down the tracks and pray to God that someone sticks their hand out and allows you to get a grip to get on this Mortos train, because it is full steam ahead, buddy. Like, we are cooking. Beautiful show. Good show.
Yeah.
I will say, not to offend anybody, my third favorite show of the week, actually. I was gonna say,
same for me.
Yeah, I liked the Fantasticamania, and I liked the Tuesday show better than I liked Grand Slam. That's not to say it was a bad show, like I said, but I just thought, it was a really strong week. It was a really strong week.
Yeah, this might be this and Fantasticamania are 2-3. I don't think anyone can debate that Tuesday was the best show.
Agreed. All right. More questions?
Yeah.
All right. Inspired by Tejano Jr., quote unquote, running a burger shop, which luchador would be the best at using a laundromat to launder money? Ryder.
Yeah, damn. I mean, he's got his own money already. That's
Yeah.
Damn. I'm not even gonna answer the question. That's the right answer.
I feel like I could see like Alom and Infarto like co-running it.
Yeah.
And I could see them laundering money. And if if anybody tries to like call them out about it, I don't think they would because they're like really tall, and I don't think they want to mess with either Alom or
I was gonna
Infarto. At least
say
I wouldn't want to mess with them.
Dr. Carante 1 and 2. Like,
Oh yeah.
they're not doing shit else, and they have family connections to keep them out of trouble. So maybe that'll do.
Yeah.
All right, next question here. This one also comes from Ave. They say also favorite UWA matches. Want to learn more about the promotion? I've only seen less than 5 matches.
So I'll name a match he's probably seen: Brazo de Oro and Santito.
Good match.
Good match. We watched it on stream. I can't remember the exact same guys, but it was like Loco Sandokan, El Villano Tercero, and a few other guys in there. But that match was really great. I think it's like a 9. I think it's like what is it? What are the UWA TV shows? Were they 82 or 92? It was 82, no? Something like that. It was somewhere around there, but it was like just a great match. I can't tell you the exact lineup, but I think I can find it somewhere. Honestly, you can just look on Roy's channel. It's just UWA TV. It has Loco Sandokan and Villano Tercero. I feel like those are really the main names that you need to remember.
I'm gonna say
6-man tag.
The Santo retirement match. That's a must watch. Absolutely must watch is that Santo retirement. El Toreo against Los Misioneros de la Muerte and El Perro Aguayo. It's Santo, Solitario, Gorri Guerrero, and who's the third guy? Who's the fourth guy? Huracan Ramirez? Yeah, I think it's Huracan Ramirez. That match is great. So definitely watch that one. But yeah, UWA had a lot of good matches, actually. If you think about it. A lot of fun stuff.
They had a good Chris Benoit match, if you're into that.
Yeah, Pegasus Kid against Villano Tercero. I think, Villano Quinto against El Signo. That one's really good. Let me think. Bro, a lot of Los Cowboys matches are pretty good.
Yeah. There's just some Triángulo de la Muerte matches that were pretty good too.
I was looking through UWA stuff earlier, and I didn't know they ran Antonio Inoki. What the hell? Inoki versus Tiger Jeet Singh in UWA, and like that was something that they kind of made New Japan like really popular off of, was that feud, and them running it back in 1980 in Mexico. Really strange, but really cool at the same time.
And some really good international
I think the Villano Tercero versus Rambo Apuestas match is also a UWA match. The mass versus mass match. I'm pretty sure it was UWA, but that one's also great if you haven't watched it.
Next up, we have a question from @SOS Baseball. Seeing as how Yutani is doing well in CMLL so far, what other fringe Japanese wrestlers would you like to see get a run with the company in the future? I feel like I have to defer this one to Soups because I don't know much about fringe Japanese wrestlers.
I feel like I need to defer this to Float because I've been out of touch with my fringe Japanese wrestlers.
Do they mean like people strictly like?
I think they like people that
Strictly
aren't being
Glee.
booked very well. Like, yeah, Glee, yeah, L. Lindemann, get him in CMLL.
I don't want to put anywhere near CML, man.
I want to see what'll happen.
Dude, did you not see the clip where he was in that match with Octagon Jr. Or yeah, the post match where he just did a tope onto some guy on the
Dude,
outside?
that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. He loses the match and then topes a guy right after.
Oh, I mean, I don't have any specific and probably like any super specific names. I guess I'd like to see. Honestly, I'd like to see Los Tokyo Bad Boys jump ship, but that's not happening. I know that. I want to see Zumbido's son, the young lion from New Japan. I want to see him do his excursion in CML. He already had his father's already Zumbido, so I think putting him in CML for a good while would just be cool.
He's
Yeah.
already got a natural advantage. His dad is Zumbido.
Honestly, or like if we're just talking like any specific like just like wrestlers like that. Honestly, I think if not the Tokyo Bad Boys, I think SB Kento just jumping like leaving Takuma. I think and the other Tokyo Bad Boy member. I think it would be just great because I think he probably had the most potential. He has the most potential, in my opinion, out of the three.
This isn't fringe Japanese talent. They're doing very well, but I would get Team 200 kg to face off with Kira and Scotty. I think that would that could do something.
Yeah.
This person isn't
That'd be
fringe
cool.
either, but I'm
Nigel?
blank. No, I just had her name in my head and now I can't remember. Like I just lost it.
She from where is she? She's from Stardom.
TJPW.
TJP the
Hyper
Shoko
Misao. Hyper
Nakajima?
Misao.
Oh, that's your goat. Yeah, you love Hyper
Yeah.
Misao.
Guy who's only seen like one Hyper Misao match. Yeah, that's my goal. No, yeah, that'd be cool. I was gonna say Zumbido. If Hijo del Zumbido comes, they gotta get Zumbido's old song from Triple A, the one that was like, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Good song.
He should. If they don't, it's such a missed opportunity. I swear to God, if they send him the fucking Rev Pro, the European Indies.
Man.
This next
Please
question
don't.
is,
Don't
I was
do
gonna
that.
say, this next question is really interesting. How many years do you think it's gonna take for TK to crown its first AEW World Champion? Oh, first Mexican AEW World Champion. Who is most likely to be that first Mexican AEW World Champ, and why Atlantis Jr.? This is from @eVampire2 Beast.
You answered
Great
your own
question.
question. You answered the second part of your question.
I don't think it's gonna be Atlantis Jr., but I do think that it could be.
It should be Bandito.
Bandito, yeah.
Yeah, that's if you had to put money on it, which I would advise against, I think it would be Bandito though.
I'd say Bandito, or me personally, I'd put it on Mortos, but that's not happening.
Yeah, we're too real for that.
Maybe it might happen now. #CEO.
Yeah.
CEO.
Yeah, make it happen, Mercedes. Let's go.
Put in a good name, please. Put in a good word for Mortos.
Oh, dude, Morto should get the belt collector gimmick.
He's too good.
He'll sue you if you try to beat him in a match.
Oh yeah, you're cooking.
I don't think the person that asked the next question answered correctly or asked the question correctly. Next question by El Hijo de Fritz von Erich. They said, okay, I think they meant Super Libre. Super Libre match. Who wins in a between Homero Simpson with Tejano? I'm assuming you mean Tejano Jr. or Peter Griffin with Niño Muriesa. Who would win that Super Libre?
Homer wins
Homer.
2 falls to 0.
Yeah, Homer wins
Shaves him.
straight up. If this is with no time limit, Homer wins easily because, as we all know, Homer can take an incredible amount of punishment, as evidenced by the episode where he faced off against the Simpsons version. Yeah, the Simpsons version of Mike Tyson. So, Homer doesn't even need Downhill Jr. to help him, really.
Yeah.
Peter Griffin.
He can distract Niño Hamburguesa with the burgers.
Homer Simpson.
And Peter Griffin gets beat up by a chicken. So, like, what are we talking about here, man?
Yeah, that's a lesser animal to, like, a cow.
Mike Tyson. Oh.
I was going to say, like, a cow, and Downhill Jr. hooks up cows, like, every day at his burger spot. So
he's going to throw Niño Hamburguesa off a forklift.
Oh, man.
Nothing to do with the actual match. Just going to throw him off.
I'm going to go and clip that because I got to keep that clip just handy all the time. That's such a good... Oh, that's an awesome Downhill Jr. moment. Here's a great question. What luchador do you think watches the most Family Guy? This is from Dan the Man.
Trying to think of which luchador I dislike the most. Probably Dallas watches the most Family Guy.
Oh,
probably. I know. Yeah, Dallas. I could see Dallas watching Family Guy. Honestly, I didn't like maybe Negro Casas. I could see him maybe watching.
Oh man,
I don't mean that like a disrespectful way, but I could see him.
Big Quagmire guy.
Maybe. Oh god.
I didn't even mean it like that, but all right. Yeah.
He just puts it on. He just
yeah, cause like
play.
Yeah. Because like I don't think Hijo del Villano Tercero watches Family Guy because he said before that he watches Rick and Morty.
Oh.
He might be like a BoJack Horseman watcher too, so I don't think he's watching Family Guy.
It's real depression hours.
I don't know what luchador is watching Family Guy.
Who's watching The Simpsons though? That's the real question.
Atlantis.
Hell yeah, dude.
Bartlantis. The Bartlantis.
Who sues us first if we put that on a t-shirt? Atlantis to the Simpsons.
I think Atlantis would only sue us if Octagon found out, like while scrolling through Facebook. He'd be like, "Hey, sue them! You can make money like I did when I sued you."
Here we have.
I still don't know where that image comes from. That's the hilarious thing. It came from a random like chat on Baked. That's the most hilarious thing.
Oh wait, I think I might know where it
found it.
From.
It wasn't even me. I didn't even find it. It was Poochie that found it.
There's a guy actually who makes airbrushed Simpsons art, where he has drawn various members of the Simpsons as luchadores, and there's one where Homer is Rey Mysterio. I think there's one where Homer is Místico as well. Yeah, there's one where Homer is Místico. And Bart as Rey Mysterio.
If Homer is Gran Guerrero, that'd be real.
Be too real.
Alright, we're gonna move on to the next show, or we're gonna answer one more question?
Let's do one more, and then the last ones we'll finish up the show with. In hindsight, where do you think would have been the best landing spot for El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr.? This comes from Anthony Goldman.
Noah.
It's such a crowded, landscape right now that it's hard to like, I don't know, it's hard to say that he would be doing better here rather than there, like, and I think I said this on the last episode, but I do think maybe he will win the Latin American Championship for AAA in August. That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping. That's how I'm coping. So
he's accepting it, guys.
That's awesome.
I don't know. That's my answer.
The tough thing is that AAA wasn't a terrible landing spot for him, and then like with the buyout stuff, it just added a lot more kind of uncertainty and like weirdness. I I don't know. Like Floke said, Noah probably still would have been the best. Maybe
CMLL's
like
too crowded.
maybe like New Japan, but even then you have like the whole partnership with CMLL stuff, and then that's a whole nother layer of stuff.
Dragon Gate doesn't have money.
Yeah, like yeah, it's really like Foos was saying, it's kind of crowded everywhere. But I mean, you make room for somebody like Wagner 3G, but
Exactly, he's a beast.
that's tough.
He's a beast. All right, let's talk about Fantasticamania 2025. Let's look at the big picture. What are we thinking? What are we thinking about the show as a whole?
Good, but way too long.
I think at times it got too long. Where like I opened another tab to watch the Crash.
Oh
The
man,
Crash is Hijo de Santos' final show in Tijuana supposedly. So I like what other Junior was Ricochet. I didn't pay too much attention to. Same with the main event. Like Tejano Jr. was on. I had to watch the Tejano Jr.
that's fair.
I thought it was very good. I did think it was really long, but also I think they paced every match really well. That everything had a good amount of time to really get going. It featured 3 women's matches. By the way, that's a higher number than usual, but not something I'm complaining about. Something that I'm highlighting and actually saying, very nice on that. I think the best of which was
The title
Mercedes
match. Come on. Yeah.
Mercedes Moné against La Catalina. But I was also pretty high on La Jarochita and Thunder Rosa. I thought that match was really good too. And
I thought that was
Thunder
good.
Rosa,
They were just kind of beating the shit out of each other.
yeah, like I thought that I thought Thunder Rosa did a really, really good job adapting to Arena Mexico and
She got
like
a lot of people cheering for her. She
yeah,
got a lot of people.
they were not they were not really on La Jarochita's side. They were more on Thunder Rosa's side, I would say. Like we said, Kira did not have her best night against Red Velvet.
It was rough.
Not really Red Velvet's fault, I would say. I don't think Red Velvet carries the blame a lot for that one. But go ahead.
It was showing some promise to start too. Like Kira hit Red Velvet with that power bomb that took her like right into the crowd. And I'm like, okay, we got something here. And then Kira goes for that tope and just lands like flat, doesn't hit Red Velvet. And to make it worse, when she landed, like her like pearl necklace exploded on the ground too. After that, that was really a sign that it was going downhill a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Kira. Maybe she had nerves. Maybe she was just off. Happens to everybody. I'm not off the Kira train yet. There's no fraud checking here. She's still really good, I think. Just, off night. Happens to everybody. You live in your
Hold your stock.
Yeah, hold your stock. Hold.
She's going on excursion too soon, so you don't blame her too much.
Where's she going?
Japan.
Yeah.
What promotion?
Probably Stardom.
Oh. Sell. No.
No, you see, Foos would only be watching if it was Marigold. But,
hey, that's not true. I've never even watched Marigold. I'm not gonna choose a day to start watching either. Oh. What did you guys think about?
Was good.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
That rating is way too low, man. That match rocked.
I thought that was one of the best matches of the night. Yeah, Defunto was perfect.
Dude. I like Tandokan imitating Rocky's Forever corner. Him in the corner where he does the fuck, I can't remember what it is, but he was taunting him.
And then another Leo Rush standout performance.
Yeah.
And I hate to say it, got to give credit where credit's due. Robbie X is getting a little bit better.
He's still bald.
He is bald.
And British. British. So
I didn't know he was in the War Dogs until Tuesday. Or last week, sorry, last Friday.
He came out with the shirt.
Yeah, I was like, when did this happen?
That's really good.
I just saw a crazy review on Cage Match, and I'd like to share it really quick. I'm not going to say who it's from, but I just like to talk about the contents of it. It says, this is talking about Mercedes Moné and La Catalina. It says, this match was dull. Wasn't awful, but nothing of note. Mercedes was slow and hit like 5 Meteoras. I don't get the hype for this match. I have had more fun watching El Patron matches this year. This match had nothing interesting. It seemed like Mercedes was going through the motions. You're the
same person that gave the Patron match an A on Cage Match. It's by the same person.
That's insane, dude.
I don't know. Different strokes for different folks is what I'm gonna chalk that one up to, I guess. As long as they have conviction in their beliefs, say what you want. But I can't agree with that. I thought Mercedes. Listen, I'm gonna say it like this, right? This is a point I really wanted to get off, and I'm glad that I have remembered it now. The Catalina chants that I was hearing on Friday were the loudest chants I've ever heard for La Catalina in CMLL. And to me, that says something about Mercedes in that she was playing her role very well. And this match elevated La Catalina just a bit more, because I wouldn't say she was bad. We talked about, like, maybe 6 months ago, she had a not so great match on one of these shows, and we were like, it kind of made us question our belief in how good La Catalina was. But something like this just makes me double down on my belief that La Catalina is actually very, very talented, and with time she will continue to grow. And with matches like this, especially if eventually we get La Catalina beating Mercedes Moné for the CMLL Women's title, if that's something that's in the cards once the Mercedes Moné like belt collector story like kind of winds down and we start falling and she maybe goes into like a downfall story, the roof will be blown off the place if Catalina wins that belt now, because the people seem to be very firmly behind her now, and she's putting it all together, and she looks her performances have been very, very good, essentially, is what I'm saying.
No, 100% agree. I think this was probably her best match that I've seen. And man, it popped me in this match, but she's got to stop doing the pedigree, man. And then she did the one
for it too. No one popped, bro. No one.
I was like,
she's got to do the one-winged angel still, though. That shit was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. She could keep doing that. I saw some people being like, she shouldn't do that if she doesn't win with it. Man, she's not Kenny Omega. Who gives a shit? Like,
that's what a signature move is. It's just, she didn't do it as well as he does, and she didn't win.
Exactly. She used the Busaiko knee that Bryan Danielson uses too. And she used the damn pedigree. Like, she takes moves and doesn't win with them, but then she wins with her moves. Like,
that's
it's fine.
Yeah. That's just like wrestling 101, man.
Then she steals Shoker's move and wins with that one.
Jake the Snake wins with a DDT, man. Like, what are we talking about?
Every time you see a super kick, you want it to end the match? What is this? Come on.
Yeah. She decides to steal Shoker's Reinera, so there's that.
What do you think about Yoda and Último Guerrero?
Yo, I thought that
was hilarious. That was beast, dude. The ending, awesome. I've seen people complaining about it, bro. Fuck out of here. That shit was awesome.
If anyone's complaining about that finish to that match, you're a bitch for real, man. Like, that's just Ultimo Guerrero, like late career Ultimo Guerrero to a T. Like, he just decided, like, oh, he tried to kick me in the nuts. I don't care about winning anymore. I'm just gonna fuck him up, and I won even though I lost.
It was beast. It was awesome, Really, really good match. Yoda looked good.
Yeah.
I got a ton of answers when I asked if he usually does that. Was the Fosbury flop he did?
Yeah.
He's still Soberano Jr.'s move.
I don't watch a lot of New Japan, so I don't know if that was like a regular move in his arsenal, but
Yeah, it's like a pay-per-view move.
Yeah, like 50 people answered me. You know, the funniest thing was they were not all the same answers. Some people were like, yeah, and some people were like, no.
I saw that after I responded. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he does this all the time. But it's sick as hell.
Los Ingobernables de Japón in their quote unquote final match as a team, but then they had like they have a match tonight.
Yeah, or tonight. Yeah.
Oh, no, they're saying the unaffiliated, but the unaffiliated.
Oh,
that's
man.
what they're calling them. They're like, oh, you know, these three guys, you know,
Los
are facing yeah, they're just calling them like they're just saying, oh, Titan, Shingo Takagi, and Hiromu, or they're gonna be facing United Empire. They're not even saying former members of LAJ. They're saying, oh yeah, these three guys facing United Empire.
These random three men.
Yeah, honestly, I think that this match is honestly my favorite from the show.
Ooh,
a show filled with so many singles matches and like just like very few multi-man matches. This one was my favorite.
I don't want to say I hated it or even disliked it, but something just felt like off to me. Like with it being the apparent like LIJ final bye-bye. It just didn't feel like it had any like sort of like finality to it, if that makes sense. Like
I think it would have had more impact if it main evented, I think.
Yeah, and it being like Hiromu Hiromu makes the most sense, and you got to have Titan, but like Shingo, like I don't know, it just felt weird without Naito there. Like I feel like the faction kind of died as soon as he was no longer affiliated with it.
Yeah, he's now just tranquilo.
Yeah, but the end was cool. I love the Titan doing the roll call. Was a very sweet send off.
Last member to join.
Yeah, closed it.
It would have been very emotional if after the match they just cut to like the crowd and you just caught a glimpse of Naito sitting in the crowd watching.
Maybe Bushi chowing down some chicken or something.
Yeah.
Neon and Kevin Knight, pretty good.
Yeah, little missteps here and there.
Yeah, those two singles matches, they were good, but were my favorite.
Yeah, I think this is when I started watching the Crash.
Ricochet Volador Jr. like was the most like out of place and out of time match that I've seen recently. Like this was the most 2016 Best of the Super Juniors match, and it's like almost 10 years removed from like this would have went crazy back then, but like the start with the like reversal, both do the back handspring superhero landing, except Volador didn't do it because his knees are cooked. I still thought it was all right. Like I'm still kind of a sucker for that style, but I definitely see how it's not people's jam in the year of our Lord 2025.
Yeah.
I
forgot which match was on the Crash at this point, but I think the match on the Crash is better for sure.
I don't have too many strong feelings either way on either of those singles matches. I thought they were good, but like you said,
I remember what the Crash match was on. It was Tonali versus Supernova for the Crash Cruiserweight Championship. That match was awesome. Go check it out. Tonali, go Ultimo Guerrero's true protege, not Bandito.
Did Ultimo Guerrero leave as a place this match earlier, or is that someone else? Gotta be someone else.
Gotta be somebody else. Not even. Main event, I really liked. Bandito and Hologram defeat the Sky Team, which to me, I think that tells a mini story in of itself. That story to me was Sky Team was gonna beat Bandito, Hologram, and Commander. Because it was originally for the trios titles. Obviously, Commander got hurt, and they have to reschedule it for a future time. They've already said it's going to be a match that happens, but later on in the year when Commander is healthy. But I think that's kind of what that maybe I'm just pulling too much from that. But I think originally, Místico, Máscara Dorada, and Neon would have won that. Mm-hmm. I am not not upset with how it ended. They dogged us though. I'm not gonna lie, they did dog us. The AEW boys did come in and they did a damn thing. Which it was good though because I mean, Bandito's definitely coming back. He's already scheduled for Friday against Mystico 1-on-1, and then
Very job gonna be
Hologram.
crazy.
Hey, and then Hologram. Hologram, obviously, he'll be coming back too here and there. He's pretty popular. He's got good moves. He could be a nice little long-term rival. And something that I just think about, like I just keep thinking about this, is like these guys can just come back now because they have mended their relationship with CMLL, and obviously, like AEW,
Exactly.
like is behind them now. Like Mortos, Bandito, Hologram as guests adds another level of variety to that CMLL main event scene, right?
Nature's healing, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
You know what? Let me book something crazy. You bring Bandito in for the Eliminatoria de Leyenda de Plata, and then run Cavernario versus Bandito for the final.
Oh
my god.
Float Booker of the Year, make the graphic.
Look, people will get really upset if Bandito won Leyenda de Plata as not a...
Run back Cavernario winning.
I don't think people would get too upset about Bandito winning. I mean, maybe on Facebook, but I think Bandito's got such a high approval rating, but I don't know. Anything can happen, I guess.
He is technically like coming home to his like first, I guess, his first like big promotion, CMLL. He did leave, but he kind of, you have to assume since he's been welcomed back so warmly that they are very happy with him, and
yeah,
there's no harsh feelings about that or anything.
You see, I only said Cavernario because I know in the current world that we live in, Rico Meta wouldn't be put in the Torneo Cibernético, so that's why I said Cavernario.
In the perfect world,
Rico Meta versus...
No, I was gonna say
Rey
Fenix and Cavernario have their trilogy, and they have the third match.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Fenix is in Palcatraz.
Wow, Palcatraz is awesome. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say Fenix is in Palcatraz. I mean, he's only been gone 2 weeks, but you know who is in Palcatraz?
Dragon Lee.
Yeah, he's setting the ring up right now, Saudi Arabia, man.
Oh man, do they even? I don't even think there's a single luchador booked for that Saudi Arabia show.
Probably not.
I guess that's not.
You see, that's what's crazy. You wanna know who was booked in Saudi Arabia not too long ago? Hijo del Pirata Morgan. That's a real international star.
Yeah, WWE needs to sign him.
I was gonna say some of these indie guys do show up in the middle on like Middle East shows a lot. Like Samurai del Sol. I think he was on a show, and then I think maybe Tinieblas Jr. was on a show.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Tinieblas. I think Tinieblas is part of that show.
There's some promoters out there who bring in Lucha Libre guys, and I didn't know there was a demand for that in the Middle East, but if they like it, hey, happy.
Don't show them a certain group from early 2000 CML.
Oh man.
Don't show them that.
But I was gonna say, going back to Fantasticamania, just definitely that main event was good. I don't know if I can compare it too much to the Hologram and Commander against Mystico and Máscara Dorada. I think maybe I like this one a little better. But there wasn't that like big spectacular moment of like Commander doing his rope walk or anything. But I think it was. Yeah. I do think it was a lot more like cohesive. I guess I think it flowed a little better. But they're on the same tier. I'm not putting that match down.
The surprise of Bandito and Hologram winning was crazy too. Like I had it in my notes too when Máscara Dorada went down. I'm like, all right, like Mystico 1 versus 2, he's just gonna clean him out, and then he gets rolled up, and I was shook. So those are always pleasant surprises. as much as the fix was in there. He had his shoulders up. So
I was gonna say, dude, I shan't lie. I howled. I
I can't lie, I
was
wasn't
like,
paying
no
too much
way.
attention to that match.
Oh man.
I'm sure it was good. Hey man, I was watching Tejano Jr., okay? It was Tejano Jr. and Los Traumas versus Bestia 666,
Okay.
Halloween Jr., and Rey Horus. It was a great brawl. I
Rey
forgot.
Horus, man.
One of Los Traumas was getting stabbed, dude. Like he was getting his head, like one of the wounds in his head, just like squished between two fists. It was crazy. Oh, and then at the end, when Tejano and Los Trama won, they announced that they would be making a new group. They're Los Nuevos Misioneros de la Muerte.
The Burger Boys.
Officially, the trio is back, except there's no signal, but
Not bad. Not bad.
New Nuevos Misioneros de la Muerte, so yeah. And then the show, unfortunately, cut out before Hijo de Santos match finished.
Oh man.
But Elia Park was front row, so.
Before we get back to the last email question, should we talk about our thoughts on the week as a whole briefly?
Yeah. Absolutely. You want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I think all three of us kind of had a bit of doubt and apprehension going into the week with how that last AEW ROH CMLL show went last year. But I think we were all pretty pleasantly surprised because this is kind of what these partnership shows should be, like sending your like A+ talent, or at least like talent that can be big in Mexico and in CMLL. So it's just really nice and refreshing to like not see a person we saw before that had a really bad match that really put this whole thing into doubt. But yeah, no, there's money to be made if they keep it up this way.
Flo,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I thought it was solid. I think the biggest missed opportunity was not bringing in Flip Gordon for the Wednesday show.
You know what? You're damn right.
Yeah, you're right, dude. You're so right.
You're damn right. I had not even had that thought before just now. You are damn right.
You know what? I think like, America had their chance with Flip Gordon and they fumbled it. I don't know if they deserve to see him again. I think he's property of Mexico, and I think he's married to a Mexican woman. He's a proud Mexican man now. He doesn't need the United States.
I was gonna say for the entire week, I want to give it a big thumbs up. Like you were saying, Soups, apprehension, fear, cautiousness around the entire thing, because like you said, the first AEW RHML show was not bad, but it was, did not leave the greatest feeling. Especially, that main event, where Claudio just smoked Hechicero, like, all right, man. I was like,
So
but
lazy.
yeah, and then a few of the matches on that card were just a little too slow. And it just, after that show, I was like, it really had me thinking, like, do we really, like, is this how the rest of the partnership is going to keep playing out? Because if so, like, I would really prefer seeing less of it, and especially because last year,
MLW.
yeah, I would like to see more MLW. I would have liked to see more MLW at that point. But that being said, so far this year, I think that their partnership has been a much bigger improvement. I think it started off really hot with, Amenaza dos Leyendas against the, BCC and Seidel against Team CMLL. I thought that was like the peak for a moment. But I think this week it peaked again. And if we can stay at this level,
Yeah.
this is a great partnership.
Another thing I like is they're blending it together a little bit more. Like you have Hechicero with like Don Callis and stuff, so it's not so much like us versus them. It's the lines are blurred a little bit, which creates another cool little dynamic for both shows.
Now, I'm gonna cook real quick. Add whenever Dark Magic comes back. add him to the Death Riders.
hey.
Oh man,
Get
can
out
you
of here. Cut his
imagine
bike.
the all-in main event, and then
the Yankee Boss.
some hooded figure comes out from the crowd, attacks Hangman, Moxley wins, and then it's just dark magic.
Dude, the Yankee Boss with the Death Riders. Oh my god.
I would
That's
just
crazy.
be stunned. I would be stunned. I don't know what I would do if that happened.
And then they could integrate La Ola Negra into the Death Riders.
That would be crazy.
And then
Espanto Jr. on the Death Riders.
Espanto Jr. doing his Canadian Destroy. Maybe Espanto Jr. can get shirts with everyone's names on it, like he does with his. With his shirt.
I was gonna say I really did like you said, I really like the integration of like the CML guys into stories, like actual, like even if they don't have to be these grand 6-month long stories. Like you can put somebody in for like a month. You can do like 2, 3, maybe at most 4-week long stories where somebody joins a faction in AEW, and like they don't have to be there every week, but like when they do show up, they're affiliated with them, so you kind of have an understanding there already, you know?
Yeah.
And like these rivalries that are set up as well, like big fan of that. All the stuff with Atlantis Jr. And FTR, like we were saying earlier, I really like that Atlantis Jr. was able to show what he can do on the mic in English on American TV, which was, knock it out of the park. And that's beneficial to everybody, because anybody else who's not named Atlantis Jr. would get cheered in Arena Mexico, but these smarks have to boo.
These Facebook fans.
Yeah. have to boo old Atlantis Jr. But, overall, I will say big thumbs up. Everything went better than expected. Happy with it. I'm happy with it.
You're gonna boo someone, boo Místico.
Hey,
all right, man. Come on.
They can just keep booing Atlantis Jr. if that's going to be the case.
All right, man.
Quick to sell out. I love that.
Hey, look, if you're telling me I got to betray my goat, I don't know I could do that. I'm not the Judas. I'm not the Judas that
Atlantis Jr. I've never heard of him before.
I don't even know that guy, man. Who? You want to talk about nepotism?
Yeah. He switched up over a hypothetical. That's awesome.
Look, I'm now offering lessons on how to switch up on your day ones.
Oh man.
But no, yeah, a rising tide, lifts all boats, and that's what happens when you have a really good partnership.
Yeah.
It makes everybody look better. I'm not sure that there were any big losers on the week. I think the biggest winners on the week, obviously Leo Rush, big winner.
Big winner. The biggest loser was Kalimba.
Yo, I googled him, man. Damn.
He don't got internet.
No.
Well, I don't think you need internet to do what he did, but all right.
Listen, I don't think anybody was arguing he has the greatest past or anything, but the main thing there was I guess the fans thought they were similar in appearance. But there was a big miss. Actually, there was one big miss from the show that I would like to voice. Que bonito and que malito.
Yeah.
They should have been on at least, something.
You're so right. Because they had that RJ City thing.
Which was good. It was funny, but like, it would have been
But
awesome if they just showed
RJ
up.
Simpson for some reason.
That's the hidden 6th Simpson.
No, 7th. You're forgetting Graggle.
Oh yeah.
Well, it might be 8th because I was also counting Grandpa.
Oh
Simpson,
yeah.
But no, I think Que Malito and Que Bonito, they didn't need a match or anything, and they don't need like that, but maybe a little interference they could have run or something, or just come out with somebody.
They should have just put in that first tag team match, like the 14-man, they should have just had Camonito with the faces and Camelito with the heels. That easy.
I wonder if they know how big of a pop they would have got for that, because Arena Mexico always pops when Camelito does something to Camonito, or when Camonito gets his just desserts, or gives Camonito his just desserts. Maybe they just couldn't fit it in, but it would have been awesome.
They should have. They should have had a whole singles match.
Yeah, I would say the biggest winner though of the entire week for me, Bandito. I don't know. I just think that he had one of the best weeks of anybody the whole year, really. And I think that Bandito coming back from injury and being where he is now is just incredible.
Oh man, especially when he came back from injury and got injured again.
Yeah, things were looking rough for a minute. It was hard. It was hard to feel hope. But then, he's on this run now and he looks great. He has the people behind him fully. He has the support of not only AEW now. And I think that this week has only pushed him up internally, I feel like, because they have to look at him and see, is like, this is like one of our most reliable guys who can get reactions in the US because people like him. He can get reactions in Arena Mexico because people like him. He can jump between the two, and he's just very, very great. He's on that next level, and Bandito stocks at an all-time high. Don't sell. They're only getting higher. That's going to be your first AEW Mexican world champion. That's all I got to say on that.
I think the biggest winner of the week for me was probably Wisin El Perro. Wisin went viral on Twitter where he appeared for the first time in the greatest promotion going right now, IWRG. He was in the Lucha Random, and they were doing the spinner thing, kind of like a video game select. It stops. Wisin comes out. The crowd goes fucking wild.
That's awesome.
I did just insane. It was him and Iron Kid versus the Big Strippers. I'm not gonna go into the Big Strippers, but if you want to look them up, go ahead. Dude, Wisin was just put out of the four guys. He put on the best performance of the night. Like, this dude is just the GOAT. And he went viral through a clip of him. I think he was doing like a corkscrew or like a spiral tap to the outside. And it went viral on Twitter. Like, it got like over 100,000 views. And then a day later, he opened his Twitter and he announced that he has a visa to work in the USA now.
That's a real worker right there, man.
Yeah.
And you know what's the craziest thing? Fucking Chris Hero was in the crowd watching Wisin El Perro wrestle.
He did a seminar. He did a seminar for IWRG.
Yeah, he did a seminar in Naucalpan. That's just crazy. Chris Hero was watching Wisin the dog wrestle, like as if it's just a normal thing. So yeah, shout out Wisin, man. That's my dog. That's literally my dog.
Who you got as the biggest winner of the week, Soups?
You said Bandito. I mean, it's got to be Beast Mortos, man. He's back in at least like some accepted capacity with CMLL. Relationship on fire in a good way. Lawyering, family's there. Doesn't get better for somebody. And Leo Rush too. Leo Rush did awesome. So shout out Leo Rush.
Awesome stuff. We have a few more questions and not too much time left, so we're going to try and get through these last few questions here. Yes. First one, this question was directed at Floke. How excited are you to see highly touted WWE ID and WWE NIL?
They mentioned you too. They mentioned you too. Do not. Do not. They mentioned you. They mentioned you first.
I know. Flo can't wait to see the D2 lacrosse players take the ring at Triple Mania.
Is that the horse? That's the horse racing, right? That's like the horse with the.
Sorry, lacrosse.
That's like land hockey.
Shit! Am I thinking? Oh shit!
I guess
I'm thinking
regular
of
hockey is land hockey.
Yeah, that's field hockey.
I was thinking of the sport with the horses.
No, that's polo, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was
No,
polo.
lacrosse, you have the little sticks with the little nets on the end of the sticks, and then you throw the ball with those sticks.
I'm gonna have to pass on this one. I don't know anybody in WID or NIL.
Yeah.
Which main event? This one comes from Brian. This one was an email, actually. These last three are emails. The last question before this was from Senor Lucharesu. Thank you for the question. This one's from Brian, and this one's kind of a combination question. Which main event do you think would be a bigger draw for the August Triple Mania? Dr. Wagner 3 getting beat by whoever the TNA Digital Champ is, or Tejano beating Homero Simpson to become the undisputed Burger Flipper champion. I thought they got rid of the TNA Digital Championship.
You'd know.
Oh, man.
He did have TNA Plus. That's true.
Oh, man. Oh, listen, I wasn't watching weekly. I was watching the Hector Garza matches, you know.
Something also.
Regardless, it's got to be Tejano beating Homero Simpson.
And he becomes the ultimate Burger Flipper champion. That's that's like the biggest pop of the century right there.
Tejano Simpson.
This next question we got from Shorty C. How excited are you for the return of Nacion Lucha Libre? Alberto versus Carlito Caribbean Cool in 2025 will feed families.
Nacion Lucha Libre. Oh, yeah, definitely, man.
You know what's so crazy? Completely unintended. I literally see them. I've seen them post on Instagram quite a bit now.
So you're going to say you've seen them live?
No. I've never watched Nacion Lucha Libre live. I don't know. I can't say I don't know if I'm super excited for it, but I mean,
you're not excited for Alberto versus Carlito Caribbean Cools?
Can't say. I can't say that I am.
Is that his actual name whenever he wrestles outside?
Yeah, why wouldn't he just go by like Carlito Colon or whatever?
That's a good question.
That's a mouthful to say. Carlito Caribbean Cool.
And then our last question here comes from Cheese Man. This is a really good question. They say, hello. A question I saw circulating a bit on Twitter following the CMLL, AEW, and ROH shows was the significance of the world titles in CMLL. It seemed like some people were confused about the titles and how Gran Guerrero holding the CMLL World Heavyweight Championship didn't really mean he was necessarily one of the most prominently featured stars of the promotion. I thought it might be interesting to talk a bit about how the championships are determined and how the champions are portrayed in CMLL. That's the first part of the question.
Because Gran Guerrero's a deacon. You got to understand, he doesn't have time to be all there all the time. He's a deacon. He's a deacon on the weekends. He's got to go to church.
Weekend, baby.
Exactly.
Oh man, I almost did a whole R. Kelly verse there.
Oh, all right, man. Cut that. Actually, no, keep that in. Keep that in.
A deacon weekend, baby. I'm about to have me some fun.
Oh man, who is this guy?
Hey, keep that in. Hey, my mispronunciation from last week was forced to stay and keep that in too.
Oh man, we gotta keep the ratings up. Foos is gonna say something crazy next week.
Stay tuned. I'm gonna say something insane next week.
He's about to like wish a threat on like some major figure in the world.
He's gonna reenact the Blue Demon movie next week.
It was.
I was gonna say, to answer. Hey, wait a minute! No! Wait, no!
It didn't register.
Didn't register in my head.
All right. Let's lock in.
To answer this question, the CMLL titles, I guess for those who are kind of unfamiliar with it, they take more of like a boxing approach to their titles. They have more weight classes. I would say that really like their titles are more of I guess like a second. I don't want to say they're not important, but they definitely pick and choose when titles are important, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like right now the World Heavyweight Championship is really not that important.
Doesn't get defended that often, and I
think 3 of the defenses have been against Yota Tsuji.
He should win it.
Sorry,
I'm not opposed.
Gran Guerrero's raising the roof. So. He's just on another level, man.
I think the titles that I think that maybe a good way to say it is like it depends on who's holding it. And I guess maybe how in demand the champion is to people wanting to watch style defenses, how much that CMLL programs matches for them. Because somebody like Los Hermanos Chavez have like what
22 defenses.
22 defenses, and they
22.
always put on really solid defenses. And then like there's just some belts that you'll see the guy in action like week after week, but you might not see them defend the belt for months at a
Sigma last
time.
defending his fucking world lightweight championship since like 2023, I think. Maybe 2022 being the last time he defended his fucking title.
I don't see sometimes I guess some people have different opinions on it, but I don't think it's too much of a detriment the way that they do it. They do a lot of tournaments as well, and sometimes it feels like the tournaments are actually like a little higher value than the titles. And I guess that also depends on the tournament, but something like Leyenda de Plata, right? Like it just depends on how much emphasis they want to put on it that year. Like last year,
horrible.
the year before, incredible, right?
Yeah.
With Máscara
The year
Dorada
before
and
that,
Rocky Romero.
even better. Like that run where it was like I think it was Titan versus Templario, then Templario versus Soberano, then I believe that was whenever it was Rocky versus Dorada. Incredible run for the tournament. They dropped the ball in 2024.
Just because they did that damn single elimination that was not.
Well, that and then fucking Lucha Brother and King had to come in.
Yeah,
They ruined everything.
They headlined. They headlined that show over the. There were some people upset about that, which I can see. Okay, maybe a little justified, but
like this year we have, I believe they announced that it was a torneo cibernetico. CML, do not drop the ball. I don't know who's gonna be in it, but make it 2 people that are worth winning the tournament, okay? And have it main event. No 4th match, okay? No being the semi-main event. Make it main event.
But and then also like you have the national titles are kind of like
mid cards.
Yeah, they're more like mid card guys titles, like up and comers, really.
They used to be like there definitely used to be at one point where they definitely like at points they felt even more important than world titles. Like for example, whenever I hate to bring them up, but La Nueva Generación Dinamita, whenever they held the national trios titles, they felt more important than the actual world trios titles up at that point. When they held them. Also whenever Soberano was holding the national welterweight championship. I mean, I guess some people were fans of the person that was world welterweight championship at that time, which I'm not gonna name him since he's working for that company now. But he was putting on really solid defenses against like Negro Casas. He won it from Rey Cometa. He faced Titan. I believe he defended against Cavernario and Sanson. There's definitely been points where the national titles have felt more important than the world titles. It just really depends on the time period and who's holding it. Like right now, I guess the national tag titles would probably be the most valuable ones from the national titles, or maybe the heavyweight one. The tag titles are currently held by Magnus and Rugido, which I mean, I think their reign has been fine for the most part. No really notable defenses besides the Neon and Futuro defenses. So,
Which was incredible. Those were great.
Yeah.
The second part of this question and more of an opinion question. Do you guys feel companies like AEW and WWE put too much of a spotlight on their titles or use them too much to determine their matches? I think kind of like I do like the way CMLL does their titles, even though there's not as many defenses. Sometimes with the like when I look at like WWE titles or like AEW, even with like the AEW championship, sometimes it feels like you gotta put into a box creatively, because they're like, if the champ loses in like WWE or like AEW, like people are like, why are they losing? They're the champ, like this person should not be losing because they're like the champion. or like they're almost sometimes they're like, oh, they're booked too strong. Sometimes as champion as well. But with CMLL titles, like you can eat the pin, and I think maybe that is just a better thing of like having more trios, main event, because the Friday night CMLL trios, like anybody can really eat a pin, in the first or second fall, and whoever eats the third one is really like
you're cooked.
It's either like advancing a story most of the time, setting up a title challenge, or like setting up like a storyline, maybe apuestas down the line.
Or nothing happens.
Yeah, or yeah, sometimes it's just like send everybody home happy, and like there's not like if it's like Místico hitting La Mística on like I don't know, like Último Guerrero or like Averno, like yeah, sometimes that could be setting something up, but sometimes it's just like the send everybody home happy kind of finish, and there's not too much of an expectation to have to follow up on something like that. They don't have to do an angle, but they can. I don't know. I guess that is a very like opinionated question. I don't want to say there's a right way and a wrong way, but they definitely do it differently between CMLL and like the American
for sure.
companies.
Serves different audiences, but I think that there's things that like AEW and I guess WWE could take from the way CMLL books champions and books titles and puts more of an emphasis on like the big closing to a story, usually with in a apuestas match. I think that for some people is a more cathartic ending for something that's like especially like emotionally charged. I think that's something that could be borrowed a lot more to great effect.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cowards though. At least WWE is. They're horrible at running stuff like that.
To be fair, I was gonna say with the AEW World Championship, it's been in that box, it's been in that briefcase for like I don't know, forever now. I don't remember the last time I've seen that belt, but I'm sure like it serves a purpose though. Like it's serving a different purpose. It's like a central story device a lot of the times too. Like I'm doing this to be the world champion, like Cody Rhodes, I'm finishing my story. I have to win this championship. And like, if you win the championship,
I'm gonna defeat racism.
or like I don't even or like, like somebody's gonna save AEW by getting that AEW title, and that's like the big central story, which in like, CMLL, there's not really like the stories around the championships are usually like, I'm better than you, I challenge you next week.
That's awesome.
I want that championship, and then like from there, depending on how the match ends, or like sometimes they can serve. I will say this: sometimes championships in CMLL can serve a purpose in that if two guys are feuding and it's like an apuestas level feud, and they have a championship match first, and let's say the championship switches hands, and then but like they still continue the story, that championship is kind of like, okay, you got this, but I'm going to take something even more precious to you, which is like your hair or your mask, right?
As of recent times.
Yeah, so
where Rocky beat What I Love for the title, and then they continued their feud for their hair.
Yeah,
with
exactly.
What I Love ultimately shaving Rocky.
Yeah, you up the stakes. Yeah.
It's like
or hell, even like an older one, like Villano Tercero versus Atlantis. Villano Tercero took Atlantis' championship, and then a few months, a few weeks later, or I think a few months later, that's whenever Atlantis unmasked Villano Tercero.
There was like a swerve for that too recently as well. I think maybe somebody, somebody challenged Sphinge, but then they didn't end up beating Sphinge, and then Sphinge didn't lose his mask either. So I guess sometimes it could be.
It was the Valiente stuff. Yeah,
it was Valiente. How could you forget the most
the most pushed rivalry ever?
Most pushed rivalry. And I thought Bestia 666 versus Mecha Wolf was over pushed.
Yeah,
all right, man. Let's go easy now.
Yeah,
let's wrap up the show. Wrap it up.
We do have to wrap it up because we're at 2 hours and about to hit 2 hours 5 minutes. So that's gonna be our last segment there.
Yeah.
Cero Jr. Make sure to watch all the Cero Jr. matches that pop up on Mas Lucha. and Tijera Lucha Libre. There was also a recent 4-way Fresero versus Pierrot versus Blue Demon Jr. versus DMT Azul. We started sending out Blue Demon Jr. apology forms if anyone wants to sign one. I know Foos definitely wants to sign one.
Hey, wait a minute.
And I'm gonna send one to Soups just in case.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't remember if y'all. This was like the last match we watched on the stream. Let me just quickly say this. Do you remember that time I was like, yeah, Hijo del Santo versus Blue Demon Jr. From CMLL. It was like 2000 and something. I was like, yeah, this match isn't really that good, but we can watch it. And then we watched it, and I was like, actually, that was pretty good.
Yeah, you see, you got to fill out the apology form now.
Yes, I do. Blue Demon Jr. I was familiar with the game, but
Demon 3 still sucks, though. Oh, and then, like, I guess the Friday show, there's a few cool things, I guess. You know, there's what is there on the Friday? Oh, Ángel de Oro and Niebla Roja challenging for the New Japan Strong Tag Team Championships. That's the biggest deal of the show.
They should win.
I agree. And Relevos Atómicos, Máscara Dorada, Neon, Esfinge, and Flip Gordon versus Volador, Rocky, Magnus, and Rugido. Star Jr. versus the Italian dude from United Empire. And minis and women are also on the show, and that's about it for that show. You don't need to worry about anything else on that show. Because there's really nothing more important on that show. Don't worry about it. Then on June 29th, we have a crazy Lucha Meme show. Shelwa is facing off against Solar. Fucking insane. They're giving Shelwa dream matches again, so I'm happy about that. Oh, and then Los Hermanos Chavez are defending their CML World Tag titles on some indie promotion, or Héroes del Ring, on I think it's August 16th against Sandokan Jr. and Barbosa. I doubt we see a title change, but hey, you never know. And then I believe the early stages of July, we're gonna see Bandito in a title match, which will maybe be available in, like, who knows, maybe like a month, maybe 2 months, 3 months, who knows. July 5th, Bandito versus Eddie Ortiz for the Riot Lucha World Championship. Bandito might take an Eric Ortiz bump. We never know. And then on July 6th, we have the Zona 23 Aniversario show, which is being headlined by Lunatic Fly versus Venganza, Cabellera versus Cabellera, and then the semi-main event is Mr. Condor versus El Macuarro, also in apuestas. So stay tuned. Oh yeah, and I guess Místico versus Bandito is also happening, but no one cares about that. You know, everybody's all about Lunatic Fly versus Venganza.
Hey.
All right, we got anything else before we wrap this one up?
I guess aficionado of the week. We're gonna give it to Mike Awesome Mike in the Discord. All I can say is that they're providing a valuable community resource. I can't say what it is, but they know what they're doing. Keep up the good work.
I'd also like to nominate for aficionado of the century at Terraborn G. No, I was gonna say at Terraborn G for giving Místico that flag at Grand Slam during his entrance. Awesome stuff. Anyways, I think we can sign off on that one. 2 hours. This episode will go up. Today is Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. Plenty of episode here, though. So, for everybody listening, thank you again so much. Thank you for all the comments, the questions, the concerns, the statements, anything you sent in for today's mailbag episode. We really appreciate it. And we hope to continue doing this. And if you have any questions or anything like that, just send them and we can actually kind of answer them on an episode by episode basis, maybe 2 or 3 an episode. If you guys have anything pressing, maybe we do a little segment on every show where we, just keep a little mailbox running and open, keep a bank of mailbox questions. I think Soup suggested that, and it's a great idea. So, once again,
fill up the mailbox, fire up the grills.
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say.
Tejano Jr. will be on the thumbnail again.
We appreciate you all so much. Again, thank you. Until next time, we will see you later.
Later.
Peace.